That would be a good podcast name anyway. Fly on the Wall.
Yeah.
I think I think there might be a podcast called that though. I think I might have heard that before.
Yeah.
Something along the lines of Fly on the Wall or something. So, what is good, JB? Me myself personally have not been here in a really long time. How do I put this? I am really, really consistent at being inconsistent at this. It sucks.
But I mean, if over the long picture you keep going back to it, you're consistent at keeping it going.
Yeah.
So it may not always be firing at like the speed that it may not always be firing quickly, but you're keeping it going. So that's good. In itself.
I always do end up coming back here. It's just a matter of time in between. You know, how long is that chunk gonna be?
It was I think September or August when I first came here. So probably right after X Games.
Mm.
And man, that was super fun. But we won't get into that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
X Games was a blast. Wow.
Yeah, X Games was fun, and I had a really good time the last time we did a podcast. I figured that's why.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the first one of the year, I figured we would bring old JB in and just have a chill, like, just a raw moto conversation.
Yeah, man, a lot's gone down, just in the industry, like in a good way, like overall.
Yeah, it's been a busy
really
year so
fun.
far. Like I usually do my little, recap clips after Saturdays on, after the race and whatnot. And I just haven't even gotten a chance to do any of those. I've been so wide open this year, which is awesome. Like I've wanted to be more busy, so I've gotten exactly what I've asked for. But
I have seen you everywhere, like online, like me, like going through and seeing like, oh, Ritter's there.
Yeah,
Like,
it's been good.
I like seeing that. Like that's like hell yeah.
Yeah, it's been good. It's a lot of things have changed. Like I've went through so many damn roller coasters of emotion, and I don't even know the right word, but I've had a lot of highs and a lot of lows. Like ever since I've moved out here essentially to film for a job, there's been a lot of times where it's really good, and then there's a lot of times where it's not really good and it's really inconsistent. And I've gotten to a lot of points where I'm like, fuck, like, is this what I want to keep doing? I'm struggling to make ends meet. And, there's got to be easier ways, right? Like, but I am the type of person that I don't like working for somebody else, really. I'm just not great at putting in a whole bunch of work to build something for somebody else. That just totally get other people doing that, but that just does not work for my mindset. And so I've been really keen on this whole like need to figure it out, need to work for myself and just make it work, make it happen.
I mean, in that essence, like you've already done that part. Like maybe you haven't reached certain goals that you want, but like just the fact that like you have started doing that and it's maintaining you a certain lifestyle and like that's what you're living off of, like that at least is a step one of success. Like for sure.
Definitely.
So, like, that's
but now
really
it's
cool.
like, I've at the end of the year I literally was like, oh man, I don't know if this is, my daughter's a year and a half now. Like I would love to maybe have a second one. Like there's a lot of things that I was like, man, I just don't know if this film thing is really taking care of what I need it to. And I was, as close as I always get to just pulling the plug on it and saying fuck it and going and getting a full-time job somewhere and just doing, something totally different and finding that consistency and funds,
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, there's a comfort that comes with that.
yeah, absolutely.
Without a doubt.
absolutely. But now, dude, I don't know what the fuck happened, but I'm so blessed. I legitimately, I prayed for it multiple times, man. Just like, give me something. Just like, give me a sign of like just to not give up. And, man, a lot of good things have happened for whatever reason this 2024. So
Good. I mean, I would think it's just effort paying off.
that's what I would like to think.
Yeah, like rarely do bad things come from good effort being put forth. Usually
Right.
good things come from, well, usually nothing happens. But if you keep doing it, usually at some point, something good happens in return to your
Yeah.
effort. Man, it's just a matter of doing it until you don't quit.
Yeah, that's really what it is. It's and we all hear that all the time, right? Like, it's so cliche. Like, don't give up on your dreams, or like don't give up on what you're doing. But like, I just had this conversation with my buddy Frosty. I think, do you know Frosty?
Dude, I do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Frosty's a good dude. So
Oh, yeah.
I just had this conversation with him, and
I thought of him when I saw your sign.
yeah, right.
Yeah. I said Frosted, but
Yeah.
when I first came in, I thought I said Frosty, and I was thinking,
Shut
dude,
up.
Frosty's been here, and like, no way.
Frosty has been here, but
Sick.
shout out to Claiborne. They they supplied the frosted goods for us.
Got me feeling
But
good.
yeah, him and I were just talking about like, he's going through some new career type stuff, and it's not going as fast or as ideal as maybe he would like it. And he had said that he heard a quote from somebody or something. I don't know how it got brought up, but something along the lines of, you don't fail until you quit. And I might have been ripped because I got thinking about it so hard, because it's very true, right? Like, you don't actually fail until you fully give up. Once you give up, you're
in the process.
You're losing, like, you're fully giving up that opportunity to make something happen. Until you actually give up, if you still have that tiny bit of hope, then, all opportunity is still there to make something happen. But once you pull the plug and you give up, now there's no hope of that. There's no chance of anything happening.
Exactly.
In whatever you're trying to do.
Yeah, there's such a finality to accepting self-defeat and no longer attempting it. Like, there's certain, because it's not going to man itself to itself anymore after you no longer try to get it. But yeah,
so
that's cool though, man. Because I mean, for the things you really want, you don't allow many things to really deter it, no matter how hard it is. Like, maybe you hit some lows, but no matter what, you just go, fuck this. It's going to get better, and we're going to figure this out. And then it's so worth it, because on the other side, it's exactly what you think it is.
Yeah.
Then you kind of got to get a new baseline to work from as well.
Yep.
So I'm excited to watch, man, just what you got going on for 2024.
Yeah.
It's going to be a cool year.
Yeah, I've got a lot in the works. A lot has happened since we did this the first time. One of the main topics of our conversation last time, I think, was the Stark and the Triumph and the new bikes and the new technology that's coming out. At the time, it was all just, how is it? How, can't wait to try one type conversation. But since then, I've gotten the opportunity to ride one multiple times.
Tell me.
So we could dive into that a little bit.
Dude, tell me, man. This is fun to hear, because I know what the exact suspension settings are. It's KYB suspension on it. And you can kind of look at those settings in reference to like what other bikes come with those settings, or what other bikes we set up similar to those settings. So it kind of gives you a slight insight to like how that bike may feel and what people are describing to me. And likely, I'm guessing what you're going to describe to me is probably pretty accurate in terms of that. But lay it on me.
It's really interesting, because I like, even so, just you going off that, I don't know exactly if it would be super comparable, just because like I'll just start off with the bike is fucking incredible. Like, I've told this to multiple people now, and I literally try to find a way to say it in a way that I don't just sound like I'm lying or like sucking the brand's dick because they let me ride one, or you know what I mean? Like, I wanted to have something shitty to say about it because the first time I rode it, I was only hearing good things.
What track were you at? When you first time you rode it?
The first time I rode it was Paula.
Cool.
So
And that's a rough track. And after midday, that
Yeah.
track goes from fun and smooth to know your lines.
pretty heavy, you're right.
Yeah.
The first day I took my 452. So I was sort of able to get off one and get right onto the other. I didn't even want to ride my Yamaha after I rode the start. Like,
Which is crazy to say because the Yamaha handles
I
phenomenal.
right, I love the new Yamaha. Like, I love my bike. But you ride the start and dude, it's fucked up.
So kind of like what I just said a second ago, the settings in the forks are very similar to like the 2020 YZ450 settings in the fork. I'm not saying they're identical, but like they're very close.
So, okay, let me get into this. So, the suspension on the bike, fucking amazing.
That's what I keep hearing too. Like it's
And it was stock. There was nothing done to the bikes that we rode. It does everything better than my Yamaha does. Like,
man, that's
cornering, jumping, fucking everything. Jumping's a little different at first. You have to get used to it. Like, on a 450, you can hit the finish line at Paula wide open and just scrub it. You know, second gear, cruising, or whatever, right? On the start, you almost have to, like, stay on the gas, keep your momentum going into it, and then you can't really just, like, hold it wide open off the lip because it'll go like that. Like, it's so much torque, but you kind of like, you get used to it. So you let off and you like give it gas right when you get off the takeoff. And it's, you know, it feels totally fine. There's nothing weird about it.
Sound like you adapted pretty quick.
You adapt super fast. Like, no joke. Everybody I've seen ride it after a lap, they're like, I felt like I was ready to go on it.
Would you say you're faster adapting to that than you would be jumping on like a YZ250?
Yeah.
Really?
100%. I felt extremely comfortable on that bike within a couple laps. And I ride with like Vicky and her boyfriend Seth quite often. And so they know pretty well where my speed is pretty much everywhere because I ride with them all the time. So they have a really good idea of where my general speed is. And I think it was the first moto that I did on the start. I ended up out there in the same area as Vicky and Seth, and usually Vicky just fucking blows my doors off. Like,
she's so fucking fast.
Yeah, and I don't even feel bad. Like, it doesn't even
style's so mean.
It don't even bother
Moto
me to get
and
past by
freestyle.
her. Yeah, it's like, doesn't even bother me. But you know, me and Seth will usually battle a little bit, and he'll end up getting around me. But on the start, I kept them both behind me. And I'm not saying that I was faster than Vicky. I'm saying that, for one, the roost is so fucking gnarly from the start.
I didn't think about that because there's no miss on the firing pattern. It's against.
It's fucking insane. Like, you feel like you get angry when you get roosted by one. So I would guess that my rooster's probably fighting Vicky off, and my speed was probably holding Seth off a little bit. Long story short, I get off the track and they both roll up to me and they're like, dude, I'm like, what the fuck? You're easily like way faster on that thing, like noticeably faster. And I was like, just giddy like a little kid. So, but also at the same time, like there's a lot of things you don't have to do on that bike. You don't realize how much you adjust from like corner to like straightaway to corner on a gas bike. Like you don't even realize how much you're doing from section to section, to where on that bike you really like it.
It's been simplified.
Yeah, you really realize like, oh man, I can just stay locked into my like attack position the entire time. Balls of the feet locked into the pegs, you know.
It sounds a lot like kind of downhill.
Yeah, it's
like more, like, I hate to say this, like mere pure biking.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's still motorcycling. That's a motor. That's an electric motor. A fucking fast one at that.
Yeah.
But not having, like, you're right, man, not having to manage the engine. God, that's a whole other thing to think about as we ride.
Mm-hmm.
What gear are we in? How much are we going to feather the clutch? Am I going to pull the clutch in this corner? Am I not?
And there's always like, I've talked to so many people that are like, oh, I don't know how I would feel about not having a clutch. I promise you, that's not even a fucking thought when you're out there. That don't even go through your mind is, oh, I feel like I should pull the clutch in. Like, no, that's
good point. How to think about that.
It doesn't work like that. The other thing is, you always hear people like, oh, I don't know if I could ride it without it having any noise under me. Like, again, it's a little weird at first, I guess. You know, you hear the tires a lot. Like, you hear the tires slap on the ground a lot. You hear all of the, you know, the tread gripping the ground and whatnot. That part's kind of weird. You hear a lot more than you're used to. But
quick question. So, you know, from riding a 4-stroke to going to a 2-stroke, you can feel like the difference in the amount of like inertia spinning in it. So the 2-stroke feels lighter. Is the e-bike like the next step after the 2-stroke and that sensation of a feel? Does that make sense? I haven't ridden one yet, so I'm asking you. Like,
yeah, I think my answer to that would be yes for sure, because the bike is essentially, I think it's 20 pounds more than a 450, but when you ride one, it feels exceptionally lighter than
really?
A 450. It honestly probably feels lighter than a 250. Like, you can do whatever you want with them. And again, like, the handling on them they're fucked up how good they are. Like, if you want to lean it over in a corner, it leans over. If, you know, you want to fucking dive your front end into a rut, it goes exactly where you want it. Like, it's fucking glued to the ground.
Jeez.
It's incredible, dude. It's fucking insane. Like, every time I ride one, I get off and I'm literally like, what the fuck is up with this thing? Like, it's
that
so
looks
much
so
fun.
much fun.
Like,
oh.
I've gotten to the point now, I've gotten the chance to ride one enough times that I don't even like if I know I get to ride one, I don't even see it as like, oh, I get to ride a start. Like, I get to ride this electric dirt bike. I see it now as it's just this bike that's fucking way more fun than every other bike I've rode. Regardless of electric, gas, does not fucking matter. It's just way more fun than any other bike I've ever rode. Like,
that's cool, man. That Stark reminds me of Tesla, of like the dirt bike industry.
Yeah, they definitely
Even
are.
the CEO, like Anton, just the way the dude carries himself. I mean, he seems way cooler than Elon in terms of personality.
Yeah, I haven't
seems a cool guy, but just Anton, the way he presents himself, just really clean cut, like very professional. This is my business. Here's how we're doing it. I mean, and to see the product he put out and the people he had to have put together to create that company to release that product, that's highly impressive.
Yeah,
it's not easy to do.
No, absolutely.
He's really pushing the motorcycle industry forward. How cool! Like, that's hats off to him. Like, that's rad. And I'm glad to see that you've had a chance to ride with him. I hope you guys get some stuff going together in the future.
Yeah, I haven't really got to meet Anton. I met Anton through a FaceTime call. Um, but he was like literally sitting at a desk doing a bunch of stuff, and but I got to meet Ole, which is I don't even know his exact title. I don't know if he's the CEO or like one position under that or whatever, but big dog. He's high up and one of the sickest dudes I've ever met. Like, usually you would think, you know, high up at a company like that, probably going to be a pretty corporate guy. Like, probably going to want to be careful on my wording and, like, you know, be careful of what I say around him. Dude is a fucking homie. Like, just a very smart, very, you know, high level business oriented guy who loves dirt bikes. And
Sweet.
like, they have done a fucking amazing job at just hiring a fucking power team. Like, Ole, just from the little bit that I've got to know of him and, you know, learn of him, I guess, he's a fucking killer. Like, he's a gangster. He gets shit done, but he's very cool. He's very easy to talk to. And then there's this guy named Morgan who I believe he's like the marketing athlete support guy or something. And I don't know exactly his title either, but essentially I don't know any of their actual titles, but they're all fucking cool. Like, Morgan's super rad. Same thing, like super easy to talk to. Like, when he sends me emails, they're not like super corporate and like it
Sounds like authentic people.
Yeah, it kind of just feels like a homie that's like with the company and like. And then Justin, he's like essentially the local guy, and he's one of the coolest fucking dudes I've ever met. Like, he's essentially why the only reason that I have got to have any experience with the brand or like meeting the higher ups at all is like all through this guy Justin, and like we just get along really well, and I try to offer anything I can of value to them, and it's just like a really cool natural relationship that's like starting to work out, you know? So, and it's 100% a deal where like I just want to do anything I can to be a part of that brand because of their product is so fucking good and the people behind it are so sick. Like,
it appears that way. I mean, I haven't met anybody. I haven't ridden the bike. Well, no, actually, I rode Patrick Evans' bike in the back alley like a couple days ago. But that was on concrete pavement. Like,
so you did get to buzz one around a little bit.
I did, yeah, but I'm not gonna count that. But I mean,
here, just pull this mic down so that it's like, and then crank that thing so it's like the cord is like down. Yeah, there we go. Just in case it's blocking your face.
Cool. Oh, I feel you. Nice.
You got to buzz one around a little bit.
Yeah. What's up?
You actually got to buzz one around a little bit, just on pavement, but like you got to feel.
I mean, immediately I just jumped on it. I was like, "This is a dirt bike."
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is like I posted this video of Patrick on TikTok and people
somebody that's just gone off on that thing. Oh my god!
And the video is him doing this in like just cracked whip. Like,
and they were already big on gas bikes, but now it's like,
right,
Jesus, Patty.
And there's a lot of people on there commenting like, "Oh, it doesn't count. Not on a real bike." Like, you fucking idiots have no idea. Like, the thing is, you throw your leg over it, and that's exactly what you say. It feels like a fucking feels like a dirt bike.
Oh yeah, the minute I got on, like it felt just like any other brand bike. Mm-hmm. If you had blindfolded me and put that on thing and just threw up the handbrake on that side,
you would never know.
Exactly, until I looked down.
Right.
They nailed the ergonomics on it.
To a point where it's like, I think they've went above and beyond. Because again, I don't Dude, I can't wait till you ride one on a track because it's like
that just screams like an enthusiast release, meaning like that's a bunch of enthusiasts that are really smart. They got together, made a company, and they're like, we're not releasing this bike
until
it is
fucking good.
Like you have to have a collective of people like that, or else somebody in there would be like, that's good enough.
Right.
That screams to me that everybody in there played their part.
And
that's version 1.
Exactly. That's what's fucking scary is like you ride that bike and you're like, where do you guys go from here? Because this thing's fucking good. And it's like, how do you make it better? It's so fucking hard to talk about because like once I get into it, it's just a fucking snowball effect because I can't stop. It's the most fun I've ever had. Like, and anybody else that I've seen ride it for the first time, they get off with the same look on their face, like
because you're doing the same thing you would on your gas bike.
Yeah,
literally the same.
And it's just, yeah, man, it just adds a different fucking factor to all of it. Like a vet dude that's just fucking going to the track on weekends, all the way to Patrick Evans, who can fucking shred on a track, do insane shit in the hills, insane shit on ramps. Like, it is perfect for everybody. I've just never came across another bike where I know it does not matter who you are, I can put you on it. And there's no way that you're getting off it and you're like, yeah, it's not for me. There's just no way. There's no fucking possible way that you could get off this thing and not like it.
From what I'm told about the programming and the management of the engine, it's like, yeah, how could you not find somebody an engine power that they want with that thing? That seems so cool.
And they're already just doing crazy shit. Like the bike is essentially like the brain of it is like Apple iOS. So
cool.
They're updating it all the time. So like if you have a Stark sitting in your garage right now, they're working on updates in Barcelona right now. And in a month from now or 2 months, you might get a notification saying, hey, you need to do this to update your software. The last one they just did added 20% life to the battery.
No way.
Through a fucking update.
That sounds like some AI stuff.
Like,
that's really cool.
Your bike's that's sitting in the garage, you didn't have to do anything to it. They did it for you, and they added 20% more life to your battery.
Dude, that's...
Like, imagine Yamaha just fucking sending me an email and being like, hey,
we
just updated some shit. Change it to this mapping, and you're going to get fucking 10 more hours out of your gas tank or some stupid shit.
Right?
You know what I mean?
Your piston will last longer.
Right. Like, that's... I don't know, man. It's very appealing to me. I like that type of shit. Add more to my battery life while I'm sleeping.
I hope it can bring the cost of the sport down because electric motors are such a common item in our today's world. Not in a motorcycle application yet, but like the components that make that up are super common, and they have been for a long time. So I would think casting parts and making motorcycle engines has got to be way more capital intensive than piecing together an electric bike. It's just now we got the batteries to allow that to happen. So, God, I'm hoping it almost becomes like the mountain bike industry, not in terms of price. I know those are really expensive, but in terms of maybe options. The companies that are out there building actual bikes, or maybe you can get a frame and pick up an engine from somebody. That this could be really cool where it leads to in years from now. Yeah,
I'm definitely excited to see like what other companies start to do this. Like I've seen a handful of other electric dirt bike companies start to surface a little bit. I think it's going to be really hard to come up with the same thing that Stark has.
Yeah.
As in the level of like quality, and just the thing does everything so good, so that's going to be hard to compete with. but you know, it's definitely doable. The technology's out there. Like it, you know.
What do you think of the Honda CRE? You've seen like pictures and video of that?
Yeah, so that's awesome.
Looks cool.
But
I like that. It looks like a Honda.
for
It's
sure.
just that's really cool.
So basically what I've learned is, you know, with that bike just being shown a little bit, raced once by Trey Kennard, you know, them, and you really haven't seen anything of it since then, right?
No, yeah,
So
you're right.
basically, like what I was told is that probably means they're like 3 to 4 years from releasing that.
Oh, like a production version.
Right.
That's where they are in like in the development cycle then.
Right.
Okay.
So 4 years from now, Stark might be on their 3rd version.
Man, what a head start.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So as for
but to
the
be
rest of the market, because
Yeah.
Stark is so ahead of, like, they're the first ones to really do it, you know?
But to be fair, for the other manufacturers, they're only changing their engine type.
Very true. They're not developing a whole bike.
Yes, they have some resources to pull off of,
Mm-hmm.
especially in terms of like chassis.
Right. Yeah, so that's a good point. Maybe, you know, maybe they can expedite that a little bit because they, you know, they don't need to.
I mean, competition, man, great for us.
Yeah,
Like-
definitely. And that's what, like, you know, that's also like what I love about the guys at Stark is like they like are all for it. They want to see other companies coming out with the same thing. Like, they don't mind the competition whatsoever. They welcome it. Like, they're very close with the guys at Honda. They're, from
Yeah,
what
really
I've
cool.
learned, they have a totally cool relationship. Them and some other brands, maybe not so much. But from what I've heard, them and Honda have a great relationship. So, like, you know, there's a whole bunch that can happen in the future as for electric dirt bikes. But
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Just the sport has definitely evolved a lot the past 10 years. Street moto's become a really
dude,
popular
it's
thing,
crazy.
which I love to see. Like
10
whether
years
it's
ago, there was not fools doing wheelies down the street in it. Like, there's like a whole fucking culture for it. Like,
yeah,
Like, think of all the shit that
Colby
dirt bikes are
really
involved
got
with.
that going off. Colby's like the head of that movement. I feel like with the street moto, Colby Raha.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You put it on the big
Colby's-
stage. Maybe he wasn't the first to start it. I don't know my exact
yeah.
history, but you put it on the big stage, and really, it's been cool to see.
He took the crown and wore it,
Yeah,
and nobody's been able to take it off him.
no, it's fun to watch him because what he does inspires a lot of other riders. So it's cool to see other people
Fuck
put out
yeah.
edits that are doing similar things. That's just rad.
And that dude's just, he's never stopping. Like, he's one of those dudes that, like, when he finishes something, he's like, all right, what are we doing next? Like, he won X Games last summer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Had a baby
He had JBI
Short-
suspension on it.
shortly after. Yeah, you know.
Yes, he did. Yeah, we were stoked on that, man. We had 3 athletes competing. We had him, Colby Raha, Cole from SD, Patrick Evans. 4, and Wyatt. They all
That's
had
sick.
JBI suspension for that event, and that was a fun weekend.
Yeah, you've
But
got to love that, huh?
It was. I mean, I just grew up watching X Games, so to grow up and seeing like Pastrana jump his bike into the San Francisco Bay, and just loving dirt bikes, and then being there now and helping riders on like that stage, to me, I was just like, wow, this is freaking cool. Like,
Yeah.
how lucky. I soaked it in. But anyways,
Yeah. I forgot what I was talking about. I
sorry,
started
with Colby.
Oh, that's right. I started thinking, I was like, oh, damn, did he have
won X
anybody else
Games.
there? Yeah. So, because that's sick that you had 4 dudes there. But yeah, so like, if you go through what he's done, right? Like in the last year, he won X Games last summer, had a baby shortly after. You know, he's been in Hawaii, being a dad, still putting out insane YouTube videos, doing
Mhm.
like the craziest shit he can find out there. And then
What do
this whole time he built this fucking spine at his property, and this would have gotten seen a long time ago if I wasn't so fucking busy and it took me forever to edit the piece, but we fucking made this like 2-part thing on him hitting this building and hitting the spine at his property.
And didn't Claiborne help make that happen?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Claiborne funded they sponsored the
It's
whole
cool
thing.
that two sponsors is active in industry helping
Fuck
riders
yeah.
connect their ideas and make it a reality. And then again, Colby gets to hit that, inspire riders. Like,
Yeah, absolutely. Like I don't know if he'd be pissed at me saying this or if I'm out of line to say this, but like I have no idea what the situation was. I don't know why Rockstar wanted no part of that, or if they did or didn't or whatever, but like essentially they had no part of it. So, I think it's sick as fuck that Claiborne is like, yeah, we'll step up and we'll fund this thing to, one, add another feature to your compound and make something cool out of it. Like
that line is insane.
Dude. And he puts the whole thing together, just like huge hit, fucking, ramp, cuts over, spine, fucking 120 ramp, quarter pipe, like, dude. Fucked. But like, so yeah, he's just like never slowing down. He's one of those dudes that right when he's done with something, he is moving on to the next thing. And I love that shit.
He's become a master of his craft for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a smart dude, man. He's way smarter than he lets himself come off to be. Very creative too. Like he literally came here and I had most of his first episode edited and he came here and like put a whole new little fucking vision on it. Which I'll be the first to say made it way better. Like he's very creative, but he's also done this shit enough now that, he knows what proper films look like and whatnot. Like he made a fucking movie, so.
Yeah, that's
But yeah, it's cool. I love seeing Colby do his thing. And yeah, he, he's making people want to do different shit on a dirt bike. Like he's inspiring and influencing kids to find street hits and like do other shit, which is sick. Like
it is. You gotta inspire the youth.
New shit is fucking good in any industry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Might get looked at weird at first, but it always ends up, coming around and people end up.
I feel like there's so much potential just for motorcycle sports, like motorsports in general, just to keep evolving.
Yeah.
And it's so much fun to watch from just an enthusiast side.
Yeah, and there's still
people ride.
There's still so many untapped quirks, you know what I mean? Like there's still so much that hasn't gotten done that it'll, people need to just step up and do it, but there's a lot of stuff that hasn't gotten done yet, which you look back and you think fucking people have done everything. Like Jo was doing triple fucking backflips on a dirt bike, you know what I mean? Like only
I mean, I don't know what you
world.
mean because like I can't fathom that, and then you see it in a video and you're like, what the fuck did he just do?
Yeah. Yeah, insane, man. It's been it's been a rough week or so.
I'm sorry, man. It's heavy stuff.
Yeah. But like I was telling you in the shop, like being friends with Jo was just like something that I get to look back on now and just be thankful that I had the opportunity to be friends with him and spend the small amount of time that I got to spend with him. I'm just fortunate that I even got that, because it's fuck, man. You just never know when shit's
You
when
really
the end
don't.
is. It's fucked up.
Dude, it is. It's, man, the moto community is so tight. And by moto, I just mean motorcycles kind of in general, but like we
Mhm.
all really take care of each other and love for each other. It's very competitive, you know, and people oftentimes look like they don't get along, but man,
Mhm.
after they're done as being competitors, everybody becomes friends at the
Yeah.
end. So when we lose friends in the moto industry, it's crushing. It's hard.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And it's like the industry's so small. So it's like, even if you didn't know them, you know somebody who knew him, and probably somebody who knew him good, somebody who's
Mm-hmm.
like really hurting from it, you know? So it's like either way you feel connected to it. And you just know, you know what he's doing. You know what he's fucking having to go through all the time to, you know. That dude was it was kind of a weird transition into this, but um that dude was one of the most disciplined people I've ever met. Like, he woke up at 3 or 4 in the morning every day, went to the gym, went to his construction job from the gym, worked all day,
Man,
rushed home to make it to his spot to go do a handful of triple flips before dark. Like, every day, that dude was doing that. And fuck, like, I know they say like the good ones go first, but like,
good point, man. I mean,
I guess they do, right?
you can't throw a triple flip by accident. Like,
No.
meaning the amount of time he's dedicated to get to that level.
Mm.
It's yeah. Riders of all part of such athletes, and man, I wish it came across the mainstream media more apparently what athletes they are, because it is extreme. They can call them extreme sports. I agree, it is because of the consequences. But first and foremost, beyond extreme, they're athletes to the highest caliber. And
Yeah.
man, if that resonated more with people, I think motorsports would definitely be much more popular.
Yeah, I just like, man, I've just had this like this thought going through my head the last few days that, like, you know, he wasn't the first one to triple flip, to like land a triple backflip, but he was the only one doing them all the time. And like, imagine being the only person in the world doing something. Like, he was the one and only person in the world getting on his dirt bike every day and doing a triple backflip.
Hmm.
Like, out of however fucking billions of people there are on this earth, he's the one person that's
Mm-hmm.
every day doing triple flips. Like,
I wonder what that visual's like. Can't imagine ground sky, ground, or maybe there's
yeah,
one more ground sky.
yeah.
That's
He has a GoPro of it on his Instagram. That's
really. I'm
just
gonna check that out.
fucking insane. Like, yeah. And he was just, man, he was the coolest, nicest, most respectful dude. Would give his shirt off his back to anybody. Like, would
Now I don't maybe remember a lot of X Games. What did Jo do at X Games? Did he do the triple backflip?
nah, double no hander.
That blew my mind. I
Yeah.
lost my voice on best trick because from the very first trick to the last one, it just was better than the last, and I screamed every time.
Yeah.
Okay, so he did a double backflip, no hand,
Yeah.
landing too or something, right? It was
He
maybe
landed
not,
with his hands on the bars, but like,
but still with that
he
amount
went
of
around twice
revolution
no-handed.
and still barely get it.
Yeah. Dude, fucking madman. Like, he was,
And that was probably easy for him.
yeah. Like, I was, I've been like saying it in the little stories and whatnot that I post on my Instagram, but like, he was a fucking real life superhero. Like, he was fucking jacked. Like,
Yeah.
so jacked, covered in tattoos, fucking no homo, gorgeous, like, very handsome dude, so talented. Like, he was one of those dudes that you were just like, what's up with you? Like, like, you're too, everything's too fucking right about you. Like, you're too nice, you're so, like, you're too respectful, you're too good looking, you're too talented. Like, why are you hanging out with me? Like, why are you even in the same area as me? Like, you know? And he was just like, he'd never looked at anything like that. He was just a fucking good ass dude.
Man,
But,
what a loss for just. I'm sorry, man.
yeah,
Like, what a loss.
Man, there's a lot of other people that are hurting a lot worse. Like, and not to say it in that aspect, but, you know, I just, fuck, man, I feel for his fiance. Like, his chick Beth is a fucking awesome chick. Like, they planned on moving to Temecula this year, and she does the same thing as my chick, and yeah, they were just a fucking a sick couple, like, just two rad people to be around. But also, you know, to make a dark situation a little bit lighter, like, this is also why I'm fucking, I love dirt bikes, man. I love being in this industry. I love getting to know the people that I get to know. Like I said, I'm truly heartbroken that dude's gone. Like, it breaks my fucking heart. But the fact that I got to spend any time with him and be friends with him, and, you know, get to enjoy the little bit of time that we did, you know, I wouldn't have had that without dirt bikes. And
spot on,
you know. So, and there's so many people that I feel that same way about. Like, you know, I fucking, there's a lot of people that I don't like because I'm a fucking, I can be a dick. But, you know, there's a lot of people that I've met in this industry that I really like, that I feel fortunate that I've got to meet and spend time with. And, you know, I wouldn't have that without fucking just that fucking piece of metal in my garage that has a motor and wheels. And
I don't know who told me this, but they said you come for the dirt bikes and you stay for the people.
Yeah.
Like, meaning, like, you get involved in it because you like riding dirt bikes, and the next thing you know is all the people you meet are just some of the best people, and it just keeps you always involved, almost whether you're riding or not, just because the friendships and bonds you make over a shared experience of riding dirt bikes, and it's a strong experience to share.
It is. It's weird,
fun.
Man. It's weird how, it's fucking weird how, like, much of a bond that you have with people just through, like, riding this fucking machine. It's so, you know,
it is
like you become friends with people that you don't even know. You just see them on Instagram and think they're sick,
right?
And then you meet and you're just automatically friends. Like,
yeah, you might have very little in common with them otherwise, but hey, if you were at dirt bikes, that's all that fucking matters.
That you're cool. It's weird. But, you know, like I said, that's one of the things that I love about this shit.
Yeah. I've been seeing you back on the bike racing.
Yeah.
Going for that, man. I'm stoked to see that.
I'm trying, man. I'm just so fortunate to have the things and the people that I do. So, you know, I did all my physical therapy and rehab with Charles up at Icon. And fuck, dude, I owe all of it to him. He wouldn't take any of the credit if I said it in front of him. But
that dude's got a hell of a resume, or whatever you want to, like, just
the
people he's worked with.
Yeah.
Just in motor industry alone, that's
Dude, you never
How
know
cool.
who you're gonna see when you go up there. You never know.
You don't,
Like,
do you? Like,
most of the time, you know, it's the regular group up there is like Talon Hawkins, my boy Vince Freeze, Faulkner, Berriman. Like, there's a handful of like really regular dudes, but you know, when Sexton and Vial are out here, they're training up at Icon and Kitchen, and like you just never know who you're gonna see up there. But yeah, dude, like through all of the experiences that Charles has, he's so fucking smart. And
that's cool.
I mean, I went from, obviously, like, my injury was pretty gnarly, but
Yeah.
I went from like,
It sucks watching your friends get hurt. That's the shitty part about motorcycles.
yeah,
Is-
and
Yeah.
yeah, like the gnarliness of it, you know, like that's as absolutely the worst part of it is
Mhm.
knowing that, you know, it can be a roller coaster of emotions because, again, all the highs are high, but, you know, look at Faulkner.
Oh,
Like, I'm
yeah.
same deal. Like, I almost fucking teared up and cried watching his last video that he posted, just like explaining everything, because it's like, how do you not fucking feel for that kid?
Mhm.
He has went through the ringer to be successful in this sport. He's came back from fucking heavy adversity after heavier adversity, and he shows up this year beating arguably the fastest kid in the class,
Mhm.
and then a freak fucking accident happens. And you also have all the fucking idiots on the internet that are like, oh, you know, we were waiting for that to happen, and all this stupid ass shit that people say. Like,
Yeah. That's
it's like, how do you keep that kid's head above water? Like, right now, how do you keep him from just thinking the worst shit when it's like, dude, fucking last weekend you
there was
You were
only a
the-
few laps left too of the race,
and he was winning.
and the magnitude of the crash is what sucks. Is some dudes crash and they can pop right back up. Unfortunately for him, it seems like he's just gotten the shit into the stick in terms of crashing. To
I
where
don't
it's
know
like-
how
it's
you-
a
yeah.
heavy one.
I don't know if you pop up quick.
it's
I don't
like,
know if
fuck.
anybody pops up quick from that crash.
No.
Like, straight to concrete like that, dude.
It
That's
was.
fucking brutal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the way his body snapped when he fucking hit the concrete, man, I fucking feel for him. And I've seen him put in work in the gym. You know, granted, that's
Mhm.
one aspect of it. But
Up at like Icon, yeah.
yeah, I've watched him put himself through suffering to get back to normal, and to just see that work go down the drain basically fucking sucks. Like, and he's a good dude. Like, that's also the shittiest part about it, is like, he's somebody that I have great conversations with when I'm there. Like, you know, again, all these fucking idiots go on the internet and say all the stupid shit that they say because they can, because there's just a screen and a keyboard and they're allowed to say whatever the fuck they have in their brain. But, like, I know that kid, and he's a fucking warrior. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's like you wouldn't, I guarantee you wouldn't say that shit to his face.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know? Like, and it'd be pretty fucking whack of you if you did. Because
It would.
you know, it's like, dude, it's going to be one of those stories that when Faulkner retires and he's not racing dirt bikes anymore, everybody's going to be like, oh, fuck, Faulkner was a gangster.
Yeah.
Dude came back from fucking heavy crash after gnarly injury. Like, he always came back.
And from the get-go, too, as a rookie, he kicked ass.
He was a phenom.
Yeah.
Growing up, he was one of the kids.
Mm-hmm. And even like his first couple years pro circuit, it like just was competing right with the best dudes right away.
Yep.
There's something almost about, I don't know when you're supposed to turn pro, but it seems like dudes off in the 250 class, like good first year, good second year, and then it's like a couple years of injuries, and you don't get to win that 250 crown until you've been in that class for 5, 6, 7 years. You're lucky if you can be in that class for a couple years, win, and get out.
Yep.
It's so competitive.
Yeah.
Like, I know 450 is competitive, but it just shows you the depth of 250 as well.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
250 class is no fucking joke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of dudes that can just get off the couch and be like, oh, I can go race this weekend and I'll be just as good as you.
Mm-hmm.
Leninovich is one of those to show.
Yeah.
Like, how
I love
badass
that
is
shit.
that, dude?
I love
That's
that shit.
really cool to see.
So like, I mean, what is this? The fucking 6th or 7th round?
7th or 8th. I think Carmichael once said, like, the season doesn't start until Daytona.
Right.
And man, I wonder if
is
that's
this 6 or 7? Do you know?
Oh, I thought like 8.
Is it? It might be. I'm pretty fucking.
Yeah. Well,
pretty off.
let's think.
So.
We got 4 California rounds.
Yep.
They went to Phoenix, Dallas, and Detroit, I think. So, yeah, so at least got to be 8 or 9.
Yeah. Right. Holy fuck, that's crazy. Yeah. So, I guess to give a little context, this is being filmed the Friday before Daytona. I probably won't actually have it out until after Daytona, so it'll be weird because anybody watching this will be like, well, I already know who won Daytona, so
good point.
Sorry.
And what's it a mutter? It says possible scattered showers for tomorrow's forecast.
Yeah, I hope
hopefully just enough to make it interesting.
Yeah.
Don't be...
So let me ask this. Who do you think takes it if it is a mutter? 450 class, we'll start.
Probably Eli still, because it seems like a outdoor mutter type national.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just already good there. So I don't think the mud throws him off. He's already at the place he knows.
Yep.
Or does good at historically. Mud or dry, he's going to perform well.
So you take Tomac either way, basically.
Yeah, I feel like that's the easy pick, but...
Yeah, that's who I would pick, too.
Yeah, but Plessinger's probably right there, though.
Yep, that's what I'm saying.
But then
too.
again, wait, Kenny won a mud race this year, didn't he? Or no, he crashed and then Plessinger.
That's right. Yeah. It all mixes together. I cannot keep track of it. That's why I have to do my little recaps after each Supercross, because otherwise it just blends together. So
I thought Tomac would have won a race by now.
I know, dude. There's a lot, like, everybody's saying, like, oh, it's such a slow start for him, but the fucking class is so heavy. Like, it's so stacked that, like, dude, I don't even think Barsha's in the top 10 in points.
No, those first 2 mud races almost feel like throwaways because you feel like the season didn't start until the round after that, and then Jet won again, and it's like, oh, wow, this dude might be... Just watch what happened outdoors.
Yeah. I'm so glad that hasn't happened.
Yeah.
I would have been so bummed if we just had to watch that shit again.
Right?
Yeah. I would not be a huge fan of it if that was the case. I had nothing against Jet. It's just so fucking boring to me to just see the same person win all the time, regardless of who it is. And for some reason, it being Jet, it just makes it more boring. I don't know why, in my opinion. But I would love to see Tomac win. I'm actually a big fan of seeing Cooper Webb do well.
Me too.
I like seeing him win. I just love that he has like that dog in him, that grittiness.
He seems to have really good racecraft.
Yeah, he's smart.
Yeah. Towards the end of the moto, he makes impressive things happen.
Mm-hmm. And he's just so good at like staying low in the corners, and he knows when to jump through the whoops, and he's just, his race IQ is very high, I think.
And he's a 2-time Supercross champ.
Mm-hmm.
Forget that. 2 times
like
Supercross
everybody
champ.
like everybody out there almost has a championship. Like look at Ferrandis. Ferrandis is creeping right up there. He's gotta be due for at least a podium. I think he's gotten on the podium once. Or
I don't
something.
know. He's had to been close.
Yeah.
His style is. Whew, I love it.
He's got good style. Who do you Sorry, it's getting late, and I had a big plate of panda earlier. So fucking pissed. I got it on the edge of the brim of my hat, too. Brand new hat. Shout out to Thrill Seekers. And I don't know what the fuck I was doing, but I somehow dipped my fucking hat in the panda sauce. Fucking pissed. But yeah, I personally think Danger Dick will probably take 250 class.
Especially now.
Yeah.
All the confidence in the world. And rightfully so. Good for him. The dude has been put in the effort.
I don't mind seeing him win. Mm-hmm. I kind of like seeing him win just because it seems to piss so many people off.
Indeed.
Like,
people either love him or they hate him, which is weird because I don't think he's done that much to make people hate him. But
yeah, it is weird. Like, I mean, I talked about it back in like outdoor season, but it's fucking weird how many people hate on him. Like, he's fucking 17. He hasn't done enough yet to like you're all hating on him literally because of his last name. And like, I've had this conversation with multiple people. Like, what do you think? He's so fucking good because he's rich and because he's Brian Deegan's kid? Like, that's all more the reason to fucking not put in any work.
Yeah.
Bro, you're telling me if you were Brian Deegan's kid, you grew up in a fucking mansion, you essentially had life by the balls since you came out of Mrs. Deegan's snatch. Like, everything is chilling for you. Why in the world are you going to put in a fuck ton of work to be the absolute best?
Yeah, right. Unless you just don't love it at a certain core.
Why? Why would you do that? That makes no sense unless you're a fucking gangster and you're a winner. Like, yeah, I don't know. I just don't understand that whole, like, hate on Hayden Deegan thing.
When somebody's having fun, you can tell just kind of like in their riding and how they compete. Because even the tough races, they're still happy to be there. And granted, that's more common in, I think, younger riders because it's more new to them. Mm-hmm. But it's fun to see. And especially when they're doing well, because that's hard to compete with when they're just generally happy to be there, whether it's rain or shine, tough conditions, and win or lose. Like, they're just, what a tough competitor.
Right.
And man, and then he's got some talent to back it up with too. Like that, you're spot on, man. There's plenty of people, or not plenty, but a fair amount of riders that probably have equal financial, wealthy parents. As
absolutely.
He has from, and they're not half as good.
No, I said that a long time ago. Like, I grew up with some kids who had plenty of funds, were not hurting in the money department, and they still sucked. They didn't do shit with anything, you know? So, yeah, I really don't think that has anything to do with it. I think you just provided a really hungry kid with some resources. And if you do that, you're going to get somebody who's probably winning.
Right. What a good recipe. You got somebody that's hungry and you got somebody that can provide it.
And I see people like hate on like some of the shit he says or whatever. Like he got on the podium.
What did he say? I don't
So I didn't even get to really listen to the whole thing, but I guess he sort of somewhat along the lines said something basically like, it's easy to crack under the pressure type thing. Basically about Faulkner.
Yeah.
But you know what? I don't even see anything that wrong with that. And I don't even think Faulkner would see anything that wrong with that. Like, like people were blowing that out of proportion on.
I saw the Moto memes thing, so that's why I'm like, what did he say? Because I think the Moto memes thing was the rocket guy, like, if he dies, he dies.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, wow, he must have said something gnarly.
Right. And then I seen like just a bunch of other people saying some heavy shit, and yeah, I got to listen to it, and I'm like, damn, am I missing something here? Because like
Okay.
that doesn't seem that bad to me. And then he did the like welcome to the danger zone, which I totally agree. Like, just I think he was in the moment, and
Hmm.
like it probably came out a little different than how he wanted it to. Like he probably, if I could guess, right after he said it, he was probably like, oh fuck, that didn't sound how I wanted it to. But he's also 17.
Yeah, and I mean it's
Bro,
memorable. It's
if
got
they're like, if you caught some of the shit I was saying
yeah.
when I was 17, like,
MySpace got deleted, so you can't see what I was doing when I was 17.
right. But like,
I
bro,
got a clean slate.
we all, you know what I mean? We say some pretty dumb shit when we're a kid.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? And like people, I think, forget that he is a kid. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's just because he's the fastest dude in the 250 class right now. And there's also dudes like Hampshire and Jordan Smith who are like 30.
Exactly right. Like, dude,
Like, there's
the amount of time people have to put into that class to
to get to that speed.
yeah.
And look at where he is. So
Are the Lawrence brothers the only ones to previously come through that class and kind of like went out and just have to move through it quickly? Because everybody else pretty much has just been in there. They showed up on their championships and it's like, all right, you got to go to 450s now.
I mean, maybe like Villapoto.
Yeah, so that's going like back. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, like top guys. But I mean,
I
like,
can't-
as recent, like the 250 class seems to be so deep, kind of because of that. It's
Yeah, I can't really think of anybody like after him though. Like he was kind of the last person I could think of that was like really dominant in the 250 class and like had to move up because
yeah. Do you think we've seen how good Hunter really is in the 450 class, or
No,
he's just had
no,
a tough?
Hunter.
It's been a rough
definitely-
season for him.
Yeah, Hunter
Yeah.
hasn't hit his peak. Hunter hasn't. I definitely don't believe Hunter's hit his flow or stride yet. Like Hunter's fucking good.
He is.
I really think Hunter is in the same cell as Jet when it comes to talent and speed. I just think that it's maybe a confidence or ego thing. Like Jet I just think Jet shows up fucking knowing he's the man.
He like wills it to happen.
Right.
I don't know. Some people
and
have
maybe
that
there's
trait.
just not quite that mental strength with Hunter, but once Hunter gets some momentum, he usually starts doing really well. So
Mm-hmm.
I think he's probably just one of those dudes that he needs a little bit of confidence and to prove to himself that he can do it, and then he'll start putting in work. But
Yeah.
I don't know the Lawrences at all. Like
Yeah, me neither. In terms of like people.
like I've met Jet once. I did like a little interview with him at Paula when he was still in the 250 class. And it was, do you remember when Jet and Justin Cooper had their like weird little couple week beef thing because like Justin Cooper won and he brought his dog on the podium?
No, I don't remember that.
Really? So
That's funny though.
yeah,
Good for
Justin
him for bringing his
Cooper,
dog
they
on
were
podium.
like, I think they might have been battling for a points championship or something, but Cooper won, brought his dog on the podium, and Jet was like publicly said some shit, like maybe on Instagram or something,
Mhm.
and he was just like, oh, it's really like I think it's unprofessional, or like it's way more professional to not bring your dog on the podium and block all the sponsors and or something like that, right? And I talked to Jet after the race and literally just walked up to him with a camera, asked him a question, and just kept it rolling. And he was cool. He answered the question. Oh, excuse me. And answered it like really raw and natural. And I actually thought he was sick as fuck. So I was like, yo, that's sick that you don't even know who I am. And you gave me like a really real answer.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a long time ago. And I think that he's probably a lot harder to deal with now. Like, I've told this story on here, but I was collecting content for Pro Motocross last year and trying. I might have even told. It might have been with you that I told it to.
I don't think so. No, man.
No,
Mm-mm.
but I was assigned to go over to Jet at a specific time to grab an interview for Pro Motocross ads or whatever, right? And I'm not the one controlling anything. Like, I'm literally just, they're like, show up at his trailer at this time and they'll have him ready for you. So I show up there at that time, and his fucking tight pant wearing fucking manager comes over and he's like, you're like, oh, Jet's not ready. He's, he's going to be a while. And I'm like, okay, like, this isn't fucking Jonah Hill I'm trying to get an interview with, but whatever. Like, and Jonah Hill might have not been the best fucking.
I got you there.
Like Johnny Depp or somebody cool, And whatever. I fucking go do some other shit, come back at the time I was supposed to. And he's like, oh, fucking Lucas or whatever the fuck his name is. He's like, oh, well, he comes back over. You guys really got to, figure this out more. You guys got to, like, have better times to do this. Like, he can't just be doing interviews all day. And I'm like, literally looking at Jet, and he's just sitting there on his phone. And I'm like, yeah, like, I don't know. Maybe he was supposed to be doing something right then. I don't know. But it just seemed like to me like his manager is just a fucking dick. And,
oh, man. Yeah.
Like, granted, that's not Jet's fault, but I don't know, Maybe tell the dude that represents you not to be such a fucking coot. And you wouldn't have people like me that, don't think you're as cool now. So, but either way, like, can't knock what he's doing. And, I think the kid's going to be around for a long time. And he's going to fucking...
It looks like it.
He's going to keep doing well. So, who do you think's going to take it this year, though? Like, do you think the championship's going to...
Yeah, man.
Like, where do you think it falls?
I'm a Jet fan, but with that, when he crashes, he's probably not going to ride like this anymore. We saw this with Ken Roczen. Ken Roczen was, you couldn't beat him. And then he destroyed his arm. It was not the same Roczen anymore. You saw that with James Stewart. Like, we've seen this before. And it's always amazing to watch. Like it's I love watching it. But he's going to hit the ground. He's hit the ground a few times now, but it's going to happen one time to where he gets pretty fucked up. And he'll come back and he'll probably still win champions, but
do you think his riding style...
He's had some saves though. Like there's seen some clips this year where like he's just barely tapped the front tire and almost just like yarded it.
Right.
And I'm not saying I want it to happen, but we've seen this happen sometimes when somebody is going that much faster than everybody else. Right now he's doing it and it looks easy, which is incredibly impressive.
Yeah.
But we have seen some misses, so I hope it never happens. But we all know our sport. Filippo, Dungey's like the only guy to go through motocross and Ricky Carmichael and never have like a big injury.
Yeah.
Where Carmichael fucked up his knee. It was never like he broke his leg. Like it's impressive. But besides that, almost everybody else has had some sort of decent sized get off and they come back, but you definitely can tell when they're riding, they're a little more, they're going to pick and choose
for sure
when to hang it out. Right now, Jet doesn't quite do that. But it's awesome to fucking watch.
Yeah,
because wow, like you watch him right now. So hard to. I guess I'll get to my answer. Not Tomac. I would have thought Tomac, but he's got a lot of work ahead of him.
Yeah,
and Anderson seems hungry.
Anderson's
like
kind of far back there now, though. He's like 7th.
Okay, but I could see him just still racing you for the win. Like,
but I definitely. I don't know if that's necessarily out of it because it's still tight enough that like if Jason was to put on a heavy run at the end of the season, like he might still be in contention.
Yeah, I guess I don't mean it for him to win, but in the sense of whoever's going to win a race that night has so many contenders to contend with, whether Jet's up or not.
Jason has got to be one of the most fun dudes to watch when he's on.
Yeah.
When he's on, you're like, oh man, Jason's winning this. Like, even if he's in like 5th, you're like, Jason's on a fucking tear right now. It's like the most fun thing to watch when Jason's on. I don't know why. Like, even
He can ride like he has a chip on his shoulder. Like, I mean, the way he comes out of a corner and just fucking, yeah.
He's just so on
And
it.
it's like
so
yeah,
aggressive.
dude, it's fun to
where
watch.
like other dudes, like you can tell when they're on it, like, you know, Tomac, Chase, Jet, Cooper, like all those guys, you can tell when they're like really pushing. But for some reason, when Jason's really pushing, it's just like, oh, he's fucking getting it. Like, I don't know why. There's just something about his style that's like so aggressive. And he just does like really technical, sick shit. Like I seen like a slow-mo clip of him like going from the camera was pointing straight on and it was like coming down like a straightaway and he was like outside and he was like leaning to the inside and he was like shifting up and just sneaking past like a tough block to like make a pass on somebody on the inside. It was just like so technical. And
again,
it's just one of those things. Yeah, just like one of those things that's like so pleasing to watch. But
what do you think Webb's odds are of winning the championship?
Man, I don't know. He won the last round, and that's dangerous because he's one of those dudes that, like, once he gets some confidence,
he's a Florida boy. Like, this is his home race.
Yeah. So,
in a sense,
man, I don't know. Usually, like, I'm not the greatest with, like, predictions and guessing this type shit anyway, but this year it's just so much harder than normal. Like I have no idea, to be honest. Like Cooper could go do well this weekend and go on a fucking tear. We have I have no idea.
I didn't expect Sexton to win the first mud race, and he did it convincingly.
Well, and I was just gonna say, like when
cow.
does Sexton start getting into his groove again? Like what happens if Chase comes out this weekend and just kills it and like.
I feel like he looks pretty dang good
on
that
There's still
bike.
like 6 or 7 guys right now that it almost feels like if they get some momentum going, they could be like Aaron is still in that conversation. Like if Plessinger wins another race, it's like, oh fuck, he could be the guy. Like right now where it's at, it's almost like whoever wins the last race is like, oh, he's got the
Good
momentum
point.
right now.
Yeah.
You know, like is
Aaron,
he going to be the guy?
Aaron looks like he's really gelled with that KTM now.
Yeah.
This year, like by a lot. Hats off, I mean, I guess to everybody that he works with and them making whatever they've done to it. But he's makes that bike look good.
Yeah. So from what I've heard is KTM is on the new chassis. And
okay.
Husqvarna and Gas are on the old chassis. And that's why they're struggling because the suspension setup or the fork setup's just not gelling with the old chassis or whatever it is. It's something to do with that from what I've heard.
Okay.
But that's why I'm, again, not saying that that's the reason that AP and Chase are doing better, but I think that is a big part of why Malcolm and Christian have struggled this year. And same thing with Barsha.
Right? Like you don't make a new frame and swing arm if it wasn't noticeably better. Like you wouldn't go through all that extra effort of doing that. So no, I feel like it's got to be at least a noticeable improvement on the two. And at that level, that can be all the world of difference of just confidence.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
Or just knowing your teammate has and you don't. You're kind of like.
Yeah. And it's like Malcolm had that one race where he was like the fastest in qualifying, but then like the race he didn't end up doing anything. So.
Man, he'd be so sick to say like in the hills one day, just like making edits. He's got such dope style.
You know who I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying this, but you know who I got to ride with in the hills a little bit last year? Sexton.
No way.
Yeah.
How that's got to be cool.
Bro,
Supercross guys are the ultimate free riders. They're lining up rhythm sections. I mean, I get the triples the same length, but the rhythm sections are different every week.
Dude, he's cracked out there.
Really?
Yeah. Like I didn't get to. It was kind of a weird day because we went to Beaumont and we spent like the first fucking hour or whatever trying to find each other. Like we're like my group and like we're in different spots and we're just trying to get to the same spot, but it was Beaumont's huge, you know? So, and we didn't know Beaumont like we do now. So at the time we're like, oh, I have no fucking idea where you guys are. But when we did end up linking up, like he was showing us just some iPhone clips of like the jump he was just at, and dude, like insane turn-ups, like
cool.
going fucking backwards. And he was just like, oh yeah, like I wish I could have found a bigger jump. Like
That's cool.
Like those dudes are the sickest if you can get them to the hills.
Yeah.
But that was just like a one-time thing. I definitely don't think he's able to go do that all the time. And that was when he was with Honda.
It's so relatable as a rider, just to see like a pro guy riding just kind of out just in the desert. Like so many more people do that than go ride the track that own dirt bikes.
Yeah.
They ride behind their house,
But
down the road.
you
So
see like a factory bike like that,
Mhm.
not at a national or a supercross, it's just like, whoa.
it's true. Like the controlled conditions. It's
Yeah.
out in the wild.
Like you're like, I kind of know that you're not supposed to have that out here. Like that's not supposed to be out here, but it is, and it's sick. Like
Good point.
it's
Good point.
it's a weird thing. Like I remember just kept looking at his bike like, holy fuck, like
Were
that's
you-
a factory bike just sitting out in the middle of Beaumont right now.
That's
Like,
true. I didn't even think about that.
like I could just hop on that thing. I could just hop on it.
And you didn't
just take
ask.
it for a
You
little
did even
spin?
then, like, did you
Fuck
go over and
no.
pull the clutch in?
Fuck
Did you do one of those? Like walk over and be like,
Fuck no.
so.
No, that was one of the first times I actually met Sexton. So like now if I was to see him out there, I'd be like, yo, what's up, dude? Fucking
What's he
damn,
like
what
person to
bar
person?
setup you running, you know? But
What's he like person to person?
sick.
Cool.
Fucking super cool. Like when he does interviews and stuff, I think he kind of just gets into like a flow and knows how to just like put on his media face, and like because he's very different. Not different, but like very chill. Very just normal dude, just a dirt bike kid. Like
Cool.
like I really liked him. Like
He's-
after that day in the hills, I was a major Chase Sexton fan. Like
Rad.
always wanted to see him win after that, because I was like, fuck, that dude's sick. Like that was just a dude that I was riding with in the hills, it felt like. And
Cool.
he just happens to be one of the fastest dudes in the world. Like very easy to hang out with and talk to, and just a normal dude.
He is dedicated. Last Supercross season, maybe the past 2 seasons, he's had some pretty gnarly crashes. Not where like he breaks anything,
Fuck
but
yeah.
get offs. And he shows up next weekend, whole shots, leads the race, maybe tucks the front, so be it. But he shows up each weekend like it's a clean book.
Yep.
Doesn't matter what happened last weekend, and to have that mental mindset. Wow, like
Yeah.
that's
The mental game in this sport is just as gnarly as the physical. Like,
mhm.
and that's what, you know, I don't know. I want to say like that's what I wish people on Instagram and just like the internet in general would realize, but it's like they never will. You're never going to get that. You're never going to shut those people up.
No, you're not, are you?
But it's like, man, they like, and I guess I just say that like so strongly because I was one of those people who was an outsider, like just a full-on fan, wondering all this type of shit. And now that I get to be a little bit more involved and like I get information and whatnot, like I said, I get to see these dudes put in work, and it's like, fuck, man, like you guys have no idea what these dudes are going through. Like
Mm-hmm.
the mental battle of just like there's so much to it. Just the mental battle of just like, am I putting in enough work compared to the next guy?
Yeah.
You know, and then it's like, well, at some point, what is too much work? Because you need to recover. You know what I mean? Like there's just
Mhm.
there's like the mental and physical battle of it is just so fucking heavy, and you have no idea if you're not a little bit involved.
Yeah, man. It seems like regardless of the bike, whether it's 4-stroke, 2-stroke, e-bike, the sport's just going to keep progressing gnarlier and gnarlier and get more competitive and have fun to watch as an enthusiast.
Yeah, man. Like, does it ever chill out? Like, it's just gonna keep getting gnarlier and gnarlier. Like the racing and the level of speed is just gonna keep getting higher. Like, dudes are just gonna keep trying to go bigger with freestyle and in the hills. Like, it's just like it's never gonna chill out.
No, man. The second one person says, I won't do that, another guy will go, fuck it, I'll do that.
Yeah,
Even
like
just for clout.
Literally, I had
for the clip.
I had a call with Seven Deuce and Adam Ektignap.
Oh, cool.
Adam Ektignap. Jesus, I cannot talk tonight. I had a call with him a couple nights ago, and we were just fucking just chopping it up and talking, and he's fucking another one that, like, he's just a great fucking soul. Like, just a really, really, really good dude. And we were having a fucking pretty heavy conversation, and he was even like, you know, I don't even know if this is something that I would want to get my kid in anymore. Because, like, look at where it's at right now. By the time my kid's old enough to get on a big bike, where the fuck is it going to be by then?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do I even want my kid to get into something like that where, like, you know it's so fucking gnarly, and to be the best is at such a dangerous level in any discipline on a dirt bike.
Yeah.
Like, it's, yeah, it ain't chilling out. That's for damn sure.
No.
So it's like,
and the next generation coming up right now is just awesome.
yeah,
I don't want to drop names because I don't want to single anybody out if I don't say their name, but such an awesome generation of riders we have coming up.
mm-hmm.
And the people above them, the OGs, I don't say taking care of them, but helping them with like spots to ride, connecting sponsors, helping gear, whatever it is. That's so cool to see. Whether it's freestyle or racing, like what a good industry that helps lift everybody up.
Yeah, there are definitely some OGs that are fucking, like, huge for that. There are some people in this sport that are, again, fucking, like, some of the greatest people. I can honestly say some of the greatest people I've met, like, in life. I've met a lot of people. Done, you know, I've bartended, I've worked at ski resorts, like, I've done a bunch of shit where I've got to meet a lot of people, and my favorite people are still within dirt bikes for whatever fucking reason. What do you think of the Triumph? I wanted to get your updated take on that before we get out of here. I think this camera over here is probably going to die out soon.
Word. So. Then I'll keep it quick. I ate my words when I was on the first time. I kind of talked some shit and thought they were taking.
We both. I mean, I think at the time,
I thought it was overhyped a little bit.
Yeah.
But now that I see it, I like my KTM, but I'd trade it for that thing right now if it was a 450.
Really?
Yeah. To me, it's like, here's a KTM with aluminum frame and KYB suspension. And I'm down with that. Like, again, I love my KTM, but I would love to ride something that's very similar to that with those distinguishing features.
Yeah.
Like, sign me up.
Because if you're going to change anything about a KTM, that's kind of what you would want to do, right?
Why not? I mean, just for the fun of it. We know what a KTM with KYB suspension is like already. So why not KYB and then change the frame out to, it'd be like a YZ250. You got your, that style of frame because it's very similar. Only the YZ2 stroke has that style of steel frame with the straight down tube, and it goes like this. All their steel frames are the cradle style, like a street bike.
I wonder if they thought of that. Do you think there's any way Triumph was like, let's take a KTM, one of the, like, proven clearly one of the best bikes made, fucking put it in an aluminum chassis?
I heard they made both.
Really?
Yeah.
They tried both frames?
Dennis Stapleton told me this.
No shit.
Yeah, I heard. I'm pretty sure that was him that told me, but yeah, they literally made both and they tried them. And then a friend of mine that builds motors at the Husqvarna side says this guy named Dudley, I believe, left KTM to go be like their engine guy for Triumph. So he's saying, hey man, if this dude's there, they're building quite a good motor. Like they've got a really good people in place.
But that's like, so again, I wonder if they were just like, let's take a KTM, put it in a fucking aluminum chassis, add KYB suspension, which is, you know, arguably the best.
They're going to steal some sales. Imagine they make a 350. That could be the one company that actually goes, fuck it, we'll make a 350.
Right.
The Japanese obviously aren't.
Right.
So, dude, if they did that, I'd buy it.
Absolutely.
That's going to be.
Yeah, and I'm not going to lie, the 250 looks really good.
They could do the big Triumph T for the 350.
Dude.
Use that Triumph. I'm printing money right now for vet riders.
Sign those royalties over to me, my boy.
Triumph 50.
JB might be on to something.
The Triumph 50 or the 350.
That would be sick.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think about it? They've already had good results in racing on the pro level. Like, it's a competitive bike.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I actually really like the look of it. It from what I've seen of it, it looks like it handles and rides really fucking well. My buddy Nick LaPaglia just went to the little media thing that they had, and he's a really good rider anyway.
He's
like
a shredder.
Yeah, you know Nick.
So no, I know of him.
Gotcha. So
my favorite video is him. Never mind. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Mammoth and somebody else getting into it.
Oh, that's his brother.
Gotcha.
That was
okay.
So you're thinking of Mike LaPaglia and Rhino.
Yep.
So Nick LaPaglia is his younger brother.
No way. Imagine he shreds too.
Yeah, sick.
Probably same family. Like.
Yeah, sick dude. Really good style. But I seen him riding it, and like I said, he has good style normally. But on that bike, I was like, holy fuck, Nick, you look good.
Really?
Like, yeah. I actually don't think I told him that, so I hope he sees this. But that's what I thought. It was like, fuck, he looks really sick on that bike. So, you know, that's usually all it takes is for me to become intrigued is like, oh, one of my buddies looks really sick on it. Like, I want to try it. So I would love to ride one. I'd like to, you know, I would like to get the chance to try one out. But as for what I see of it, I think it looks really fucking good. I think they hit the nail on the head as for dropping a bike that can compete with what's out there right off the, you know, right from the jump.
Yeah. And
which is hard to fucking do.
For sure. Yeah, that's impressive.
That's impressive.
Right? Because we've seen Cannondale try to enter the dirt bike market. It lasted maybe 2 years. We've seen ATK a long time ago before that. There's been a few people that have tried to get into it, and the bikes aren't competitive compared to what's being offered at the time.
Right.
And yeah, Triumph seems to have nailed it. The Ducati looks pretty cool.
Jesus.
Looks like a Honda. I mean,
I'm having a fucking aneurysm trying to say words tonight.
It's like a Honda with a Ducati motor in it.
Yeah.
Essentially.
The Ducati looks a little weird to me. Like, I think just the plastics seem like the front fender seems really wide.
Big time, right? Just give me a Honda front fender. That's what I would do.
Yeah. But the bike looks fucking great. Like, granted, you know, the videos they're posting are Antonio Caroli. So, like, you know, gonna look sick.
What an OG. Yeah.
Like, the bike looks fucking great. Looks like it handles and rides really well. I'd like to try both of them.
How humble of him to come over and race the U.S. Nationals, not at his prime.
Yeah.
And just be like, I just want to do it, knowing some people are still going to talk shit because he didn't win. I just thought that was so fucking cool.
Yeah.
I didn't get to go. I was doing something else. But, man, if there was a time I wanted to be at a national, that was one of those times.
Yeah,
I think Dungey was racing it too.
Yep.
So it was like, what a cool
I will
lineup.
say that
Jet smoked everybody.
Yeah. But
was that race? Yeah.
Yeah. But still, like, getting to see Cairoli race in person was one of the sickest things.
How
ever.
cool. Yeah.
So, like, I had always been a fan of him. So to get to see him come over and race live, like, I was like filming and I would be like, fuck, this is so sick. Like, trying as hard as I could to just watch him instead of like paying attention to the viewfinder and like actually getting clips that I needed. But it was like the same thing with just like also seeing Dungey race too. Like that season was last year, right? Last season.
I thought so. Yeah, right.
But that last season was just fucking sick. Like it was, you know, like there's just so much going on. But what about, we'll close it with, you know, some of your stuff. What do you have going on this year? Is there anything that you're stoked on? Is there anything big you got coming up?
Ooh, you know, not to touch on this again, but looking forward to working on Stark a lot more. I already been talking to people, been helping out some people with that a little bit, not directly hands-on, but just people ask me some insight, give me feedback, and telling them, well, here's how I would kind of tune it and adjust it.
Yeah.
So just excited to try to work on that, just some more new stuff in that area. And then, man, we released the JBI Titanium Pro Perch this year, and that's got some really good feedback. Just that's a part I've had for almost 10 years, and you got to experience that, which is cool.
Yeah,
it's
I'm a big
fun,
fan of that.
Just showing people how much we can manipulate a bike and get it to work better. And I've been buying extra sets of suspension for different brand bikes, so that way we can just go to the track and you can just literally demo my stuff before you spend any money with us. Because what a better way to just let somebody experience it than just experience it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was cool with you because you got to ride your bike stock exactly as it is, pull the forks off with the same exact setting, just the perch.
Yeah.
And we'll do that some more. That's the whole thing, is to try to show people the process of like developing settings and kind of how we do that. We've been a lot more active on YouTube the past year.
Dude, you've been killing it
in terms of we've always done that process of developing bikes and suspension. We just haven't always put it on YouTube and been transparent with it.
Right.
Just about a year ago, I thought kind of like, why not? You know, people seem to be interested, so why not share this with people? Like, here's what we're doing. Yeah, just here's what we're doing.
Yeah.
So it's been fun. The response has been really good, and it's cool. I like reaching people. I like talking dirt bikes. Like, that's why I'm here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's funner?
Yeah, and you do a really good job of it. Like, I think it's really uncommon for somebody like yourself to actually like spread the knowledge that you have. I think a lot of people like you probably, like a lot of people that get to your point probably aren't super willing to release what they have, right? Like what they've learned.
For sure. You know, sometimes if people want to protect what they got, but I feel like it shows confidence in being transparent and here's what we do, here's why we do it, and here's what you should expect once we're done with your bike. And I try to be clear with people, like, it's never going to be perfect, but if your benchmark is your stock bike, we have settings that are much improved over those stock settings. Than that.
Right.
For sure. And that's really what you're competing against if we're talking in a racing sense or just riding. So most people have a stock bike. If you want to work better than that, dude, we can do it much better.
Yep.
And I love my job. I feel so lucky that I get to ride dirt bikes, hang out with people that like to ride dirt bikes, talk dirt bikes, figure out how to make them better. It's because you know that feeling, man, when the bike isn't working well, it's still a fun day riding, but not great. Mm-hmm. But the bike's working just exceptional.
You feel like a kid.
You do. You're surfing that dirt.
I don't even know what that feeling is. Like, I don't know how to explain that. It's like better than being a kid. It's like being a fucking rich, smart kid with whatever you want or something. I don't know. Like, yeah, when the bike feels good, it's the most fun I think you can have.
Yeah, it almost feels like you're cheating because like the track is almost not on easy mode, but just the confidence you navigate the track with at that point. Mm-hmm. And a bike handling better while you are confident is not by mistake either. When you're riding confident, your bike handles better because you're riding with assertiveness of direction of what you're going to do. When people get hurt and they're coming back from riding and they're riding timid, the bike never works as well because they're not directing the bike. They're riding the bike and they're a passenger of it. Yeah. With that, as they get more experience and get their confidence builds up, and as a suspension tuner, that's the thing I often tell people when they're like, hey, my bike's doing this. I can't be like, I get it, but you need more time to get used to the settings or you off an injury. But you learn to help people adjust their bike for that. But Yeah, I forgot I was going with that. Dang it.
That's okay. I hear my lady and my little child coming in, so
Family's where it's at, man.
probably a good time to wrap it up because my kid's a menace. She's fucking awesome, but she's a little crazy.
It's fun watching them grow. Happy Friday, man. Thanks for having me over.
Yeah, dude. Thank you as always for coming in, and yeah, just keep on keeping on. And I say this every single time I come in here, but I really do want to be in here more. I would love to find ways to spend more time in here and put out more of this type of content because I love doing these.
I got a lot
I
of
love
testing
talking to
stuff
my homies
for
about
you.
just
Sorry.
dirt bike shit. What's that?
I got a lot of testing stuff for you, man. So we'll be back.
Yeah.
Ryan, I got a lot of suspension stuff for him on his Yamaha to test, and we'll be sharing that with you just like we did with the Pro Perch.
Yeah, and go watch that video on JBI's YouTube.
So we're going to do that with fork settings. He has a set of forks right now that I've revalved with the Pro Perch, so he has the next evolution in that. And then Ryan picked up another shock, so we're going to revalve that, and he'll be able to try his bike kind of in these incremental stages as we develop it, and we'll share that with you guys. And yeah, that's going to be really fun.
Fuck
So
yeah.
yeah, we're coming back.
We're coming back. We're coming back hard and heavy for 2024, baby.
Yes, we are. What a good year.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I'm stoked and appreciative and fortunate to
You got any surprises in for 2024?
I do. I have a lot of surprises for 2024, but I am going to keep them surprises for another time.
Let's do it. Cool.
So stay on it. Follow the Media Pub. Follow my personal. Follow JBI on Instagram and YouTube. And stay up to date.
Mm-hmm.
Peace.
Later.